Hi there! This is a short video to help you set up 2 teams to play the game for you, so you don't have to. The first one features a physical corrosion mix team using my own V6 Yoohee and a borrowed V6 R6 Vermastina. Yoohee is V3, which improves her ult uptime, but she works at lower investment too. The only character that needs her fire control preset to be adjusted is Yoohee, because she uses her as 2 on the first round, which is no longer the correct rotation since her expansion key. I've set up a full timeline preset, which you can copy via the code that I leave below. If your Yoohee is lower than V3, this won't work for you, since her ultimate cooldown differs. You can instead manually play her on round 1 and hit the auto button afterwards. For the other characters, I'd simply set their movement strategy to aggressive. However, Vermastina and Yoohee will walk behind cover with their additional movement, so you can't force them to be in range for the boss's knockback attack. Yoohee should have both strong support and deadly entwine equipped so that her ultimate is always off cooldown. The other key setups are standard stuff. Other than that, make sure that Vermastina and Yoohee are on these tiles to receive Predator's brand, formerly known as Hunt Mark. Note that I said in my guide that the tile behind the boss takes precedence over the one in front, but this seems to be only true when it is the borrowed character. Either way, it's safest to avoid the tie break and just have the formation like this. Since I have the fire control preset set up for Yoohee, I can press auto right away. I'll show her manual first turn in the next battle. As you can see here, the team kills the boss on the final turn. Your result may vary depending on your investment and platoon level. Since Vermastina doesn't break the 400% defense penetration threshold without Laney, I'd expect similar performance even at quote-unquote just V6 R1. For the next team I'm using my own V6 R1 Vermastina and whatever decent characters I have left. I don't have a lot to choose from, so here's a formation that is fairly accessible. I've tried this setup once with Nikita and once using QJ without expansion key to have a benefit from Yoohee's buff. If you want to use Nikita, don't forget to equip her newly released expansion key. I tried this setup with a borrowed V6 Yoohee, but of course if you don't have your own V6 Vermastina, you should borrow her and build the rest of the team according to your best performing element. If you have Diane, Anslash or Alred, you're best off going for a monophysical team with QJ or Faye. If you use a V0 Nikita, set her fire control preset to priority strategy to go from her S1 to her S2 to her ultimate. That way, she won't mess up the rotation. Springfield needs a timeline strategy so that she properly uses her S2 on Tolu every other turn. Note that this may only be necessary when she is below V2. Here, we tell her to use the S2 on turn 1, which prioritizes Tolu. Round 2 is her ultimate plus the S2 on Nikita. On round 3, the S2 on Tolu again, and round 4 will be another S2 or S1 to conclude the cycle. She will use the final S2 on herself rather than Nikita, so you might as well set it to her S1, especially when using QJ instead. You don't need to set the remaining turns, as this strategy is looped after its conclusion. In the turn order, we let Springfield act first, followed by Yoohee. Before Yoohee chooses the ability following her ultimate, we have to interrupt the autoplay to not have her use the S2 this round. After manually firing off her S1, we can resume the auto battle. The team gets to a score of about 8.2k. Nikita's damage output is not too impressive, though to be fair she mostly hits into the stability of the boss. I've repeated this setup with QJ instead of Nikita. Place QJ at the beginning of the action sequence. You can set her preset to prioritize her ultimate, but as far as I could tell she never used another ability even without setting this. Remember to unequip her expansion key so that she benefits from Yoohee's defense penetration buff. If you're not using Yoohee this fight because you're borrowing Vermastina, you should use her expansion key and consider slotting in Vector for buffs and burn weakness. After manually taking care of Yoohee's first turn, we hit auto again and let the team do its job. The final score is higher by about 100 points, but there's probably more optimization possible, in particular when it comes to the support character. I decided to go with Yoohee, but Vermastina is fairly self-reliant, so you could also try borrowing some other powerhouse like Lewis. But yeah, this boss is pretty auto-friendly, so I don't think there's much reason to manually control this fight for a whole week. I hope this helps you maintain your sanity, and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for watching, see you next time.